Let's get started with the man who started that chorus. Joining us now, Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett, again, the first sitting Democrat in Congress to call for Joe Biden to withdraw from the presidential race. Congressman, I know there are colleagues of yours who agree with you, at least privately, that Biden's performance was troubling and he shouldn't be the standard bearer there. But there are also lots of rumors that I'm hearing about letters being circulated among Democrats asking him to step down. Are you part of any of these pushes trying to get fellow safe seat Democrats to sign on to pushing Biden out publicly?
No, I'm not, but I'm not surprised that those letters are circulating. You're aware that yesterday, one colleague, Democratic colleague in Maine, another in Washington state, both said they thought Trump would win this election. I'm concerned that he could and that he will bring in a group that will take over our government and we'll never get it back. And it is because of the great danger that Trump poses that I want us to have our strongest possible candidate. I think there is great concern out there. I certainly honor the right of the president to try to salvage his campaign. He's earned that through his accomplishments, but it needs salvaging because we've had a year where he's run behind in the polls, run behind our Senate candidates. And if we see a continued decline, which I expect we will see some after this debate, that can affect not only him and the takeover by Trump, but to eliminate the check that a Democratic House and Senate could provide. Those are the concerns that have motivated me to get involved and to say, Mr. President, please look at what's happened, recognize that the reality out there may not be the same thing you're hearing from the circle of your closest friends and family, and consider putting our country first and putting aside your personal interest and make that tough decision like Lyndon Johnson did under different circumstances to step aside and let us get an energetic new candidate.
But, sir, is it salvageable from your perspective? Like, what do you do if nothing changes? If the president remains defiant and says, I'm staying in this race, what does someone like you do?
Well, under those circumstances, if he chooses to stay in, and he's the only one who can decide this, if he chooses, despite all the polls, all the information, I'll do everything I possibly can, and I know my colleagues will, to try to get him elected. I just think it will be a heavy load to carry, and that some really good people could be lost in the process.
When you first made this call, you cited trailing poll numbers and an inability to carry the party's message and really do that contrast with Trump on the debate stage. Those, to me, seem like political considerations. But do you have concerns about the personal side of this, the president's health, his physical and mental ability, both as a candidate and as the sitting president of the United States?
Well, I think that anyone who watched that debate and the way he answered or did not answer the questions would have some concern based on that. But I think that much more than the records from a physician, I would like to see him display with his conduct rather than the isolation that his campaign has kept him in up to now. To see him engage with journalists like you, answer the tough questions, have town halls, not just scripted robo kind of responses, and demonstrate that he has the capacity to move forward. If he does, he'll certainly have my support.
Well, Congressman, I'll take an interview with the president any day, of course, if the White House is listening. But am I right to hear you say that you would be interested in hearing something from the White House doctors on this? Did I hear you correctly?
No, what I'm saying is a better indication than that is to see him actually outperforming. We can read or interpret however we might, whatever the House physician might say. But I think we want to see him demonstrate his capability that he did not demonstrate in the debate. And it will take more than one interview to do that and one appearance. It's more than him going and speaking to a staged campaign rally with a teleprompter. It's a matter of engaging and taking the tough questions that so many people around America have. You know, he doesn't have to convince me. I'm convinced that Joe Biden has been a successful president, but there are a significant number of Americans out there that didn't believe it, that sided with a convicted criminal over President Biden. And we are lagging, we're going to lag more, and it will take a tremendous effort to overcome that.
Just based on the conversations that you've had with your colleagues, do you think there will be more people today, tomorrow, before Congress comes back next week, who say that President Biden should not be the party's nominee?
Well, I think it's very difficult for some members to come out and say it publicly. I believe some are saying it to White House people, and I think that's really important, and I would encourage them to do that, just as I would encourage people across the country to talk to their senators and their Congress members while they're back in their districts and express their feelings about the debate and how they think we should proceed. But I think there'll be only a small number of people who might speak out publicly about this during the immediate future.
You said, why take the chance now when there's a better alternative? Who's the better alternative? Can't replace someone with no one.
Well, I think I would apply it to plural, to alternatives, because I think we have some talented governors. Pardon? I think we have talented governors. I think we have some talented senators. Certainly the vice president would want to be in the mix. The time is short, but there's no reason we can't have a true, clear, open democratic process, not making the decisions behind closed doors with a smoke-filled room, where ultimately the convention decides who our nominee is after presentations by people in advance of the convention about their program and why they appear to be the best person to take on President Trump. You know, we've had a year in which people have said we don't want either one, a too significant number of people, despite the horrible record of Donald Trump. We need, I believe, a better choice to energize and get more people involved who've been unwilling to participate up till now.
Congressman Lloyd Doggett, thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective. I'll see you up on Capitol Hill next week.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.